Welcome to The Chatter, your end of the week ear candy for what to eat, drink, see, and do in Richmond, Virginia, right damn now.
The Richmond experience is independently owned and created by locals, us, for locals, you. From recent openings and the latest trends to time tested traditions and hidden gems, we're here to help you experience the very best that RVA has to offer.
Hi, I'm Paige, RVAX social media manager. I'm the face you see in front of the scenes on Instagram and TikTok, taking you to all the latest and greatest hotspots around town.
And I'm Kelsey, RVAX managing editor, working behind the scenes on your Wednesday and Thursday newsletters, the Weekly Insider and the Weekender, and City Guides.
Hey, Kelsey.
Hi, Paige, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I had
Making
a
it through.
really long therapy session just before this.
Yes, you were saying she was deep diving into your history with her to celebrate your 1 year.
Yeah, I've been with my therapist 1 year and she knows how much I like goal setting. So we talked all about, my past year and, what we want to accomplish in the new year. So it's fun.
Yeah, so you're prepared and ready to be booked and busy.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Fantastic. Amazing stuff. Paige, I was thinking about that. I go to therapy on a weekly basis. Are you also weekly?
I was and I usually am, but like with my schedule, I'm not gonna see her now for 2 weeks.
Okay, it's sort of like ebbs and flows.
Yeah, but usually we were on like an every other week.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I mean, whenever I need her, I
I
can
know.
call her.
That's
She's
kind
great.
of what mine sort of changes with the seasons of life. Like
Yeah.
right now, with the stress that we were hinting and talking about last week, definitely I'm seeing her weekly at this point. But if things are a little bit more even keel, I'm like, Erica, I'll catch you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's great. Mental health is health, and we're big proponents of, taking care of your mind and talking things out. I love it. I love therapy so
Oh
much.
my gosh, I feel like so much better at the end of every session. Even like if I go into sessions where I'm just kind of like, I don't know what I'm going to talk about today, we find something to digest and, uncover. And I feel so much better.
Same. Love
It's
it.
the best. But I was thinking about how we're headed into that time of year where it's like things are getting darker outside earlier.
Yeah.
And so this is like primo time for people to really be needing some extra mental health support. So here's your reminder. If you need to get a therapy session on the calendar, do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you like this time of year? I know it's very controversial. Like there have been times where I haven't like loved it in my life, but now I don't know. I've kind of like grown to embrace it. I sort of like the daylight savings changes.
I mean, I love October's my favorite month of the year. And then, you got November and it's my birthday.
Oh,
We
true.
have Thanksgiving. And then I love the holidays.
Yeah,
Like, I love going to do all the things. I already booked my Tacky Light tour.
of course.
I'm ready. But it's once January 2 hits, I am sad.
It's
The after holiday slump
yeah,
gets me. And then literally Richmond shuts down in January.
yeah.
There's nothing going on. I like love Valentine's Day, like probably one of my favorite holidays.
Mhm.
And that kind of like helps me, I don't know, a
It's a
little bit.
boost.
And then once the spring hits, I'm fine. But January through March, I'd have to say are like my 3 hard months.
It's a little
Just so
bleak for
depressing.
sure. For a while, I really liked the like right after the holidays into January when you're like you've gotten through all of the like craziness of like you've got your gifts are given, the nuttiness is done, and you get a
Mhm.
little bit of like quiet time, but you're still kind of like in holiday mode. I really love that period, but you're right. The farther you get away from like the holidays and the thicker, the winter gets, it's like this isn't great.
Yeah, and I lean in hard to the goal setting in January, but like that only gets me so far.
Then you're just sort of like it's like you're treading water for February, March until like the sun comes back up.
Yeah, and I've talked to Holly about it. I'm like, why don't we plan a vacation in January?
Yes, that's
Honestly, it would be perfect time for us, for the Richmond experience because there's not that much going on.
right. That's true.
So I'm like, why don't we get out of here and just go somewhere? Because even I'm sure Europe is better in January than being here is.
Right. I mean, listen, maybe this is your inspiration page. You got to get something on the calendar. I was just starting to write our weekly insider before we hopped on, and I was actually writing something about how you and I are discussing possibilities for a company retreat at the beginning of next year. So
Yeah,
why don't you plan a trip with Holly? You and I plan a company retreat, and before you know it, we'll be in April.
true. Maybe that should be it.
That's the
Yeah,
key. Just have a couple of trips on your calendar. You won't even notice.
yeah. And then we'll be yeah, we'll already be in April.
Easy, easy, easy. My husband gets really down though with like the earlier like night starting at like 5 eventually. Like he really is not a fan. It doesn't bother me as much. Sometimes it's kind of a nice way to sort of like, get cozy earlier.
It's funny because in the summer, I'm like, I could be out till 9 o'clock. And then in the winter, I'm like, I need to be home by 6.
I know, it really shuts things down quickly.
Yeah, it's so weird. I don't know. I think I had that mentality as a kid and it kind of just transferred up to me.
Yeah.
But I can understand that, especially since Matt has like a traditional job where he goes to work. As a teacher, I would get to school and it was dark, and I would leave school and it was dark. And that's depressing.
Yes, I was just about to say it was occurring to me in real time that maybe it hasn't given me such trouble in the past few years since I've been working with the Richmond Experience because it's like a remote job. You're kind of like, seeing the light of day throughout your
Yeah.
afternoon and morning. Whereas if you're in like an office in a traditional setting, you go to work early, you come back late, and it's kind of like there goes the day. Now I just realized it as we were speaking.
Yeah.
I'm
You're
gonna have
blessed.
to treat my husband to a nice dinner or something.
Yeah.
Get him through these hard times.
Yeah. We'll
Oh
get there.
man, well, what else is going on, Paige? How was your weekend?
Oh my gosh, it was so good. We're going to talk about a snippet of it down at the bottom, but I went car camping.
Yes, I can't wait to hear about your experience. You were saying before you took off last week that this was like your first experience with that.
Well, I camped. So, fun fact, the year 2000. So, I
Mhm.
was about 10. My mom and dad, this was before my sisters were born. My mom and dad and I camped from Pennsylvania all the way to Montana. We stopped at all the national parks and we camped in a tent.
Oh, I
And
love.
but we camped at campsites.
Yeah.
So, and we didn't really hike. Like, so this was, we went to Shenandoah. We got there early on Saturday, hiked 3 hikes, all pretty like short. Like the longest hike we did was a little over 4 miles.
Okay.
So in all, we probably got around 7, 8 miles in. But then they have these camping sites along the Appalachian Trail. So it's mostly used for like car camping or folks that are hiking and they need a place to shelter for the evening.
Sure.
And so these little sites are nestled all along Shenandoah. So we found a site near the last hike we did and we parked. And then from there, from parking, you still have, like some of them are upwards of a mile. Ours was only a quarter of a mile.
Mm.
So you have all your gear and, all your equipment that you need for the night. I mean, we were filtering water from a stream.
I was catching this on your updates on stories. Yes.
And I think my friends were like, "Are you gonna do this?" Like Holly was like, "Are you gonna do this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm down. I love being outdoors. I love hiking." The hiking part was probably my favorite part of the day. And I mean, I asked up front, I was like, "Can I bring wine?" And they're like, "Well, as long as you carry it." And I'm like, "Well, I'll be damned.
Yeah.
I will be carrying this wine."
Yes.
I'm gonna enjoy it after this hiking trip. So I brought a couple bottles of wine. We all shared. We brought food. And yeah, we set up our tent. We gathered firewood. In the evening, there was another hiker and then another group. So you are sharing the space.
Okay.
It is an interesting thing. I would do it again,
Yeah.
100%.
Mhm.
But I'd be more interested in the like carrying the gear hike.
Okay. And then like setting up or a whole thing like from scratch.
I think so. I think that sounds, but then you're hiking with your gear and
Yeah.
that adds in a whole other, dimension of like strength and
Right. Just a lot of like forward thinking, what's the plan and all of that.
yeah.
But
But
you know what? It sounds fun all the same.
yeah, but my group of friends, my girlfriends that do it, they do it like twice a year. And so we'll probably, keep the tradition going. We'll
Yeah.
see.
It's a
But
perfect time too. Like it's not like too cold yet. It's just like
no.
perfect at night.
Yeah, and like we really got lucky with the weather. It was beautiful all day. The weather was nice at night. Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect time.
Primo. And as we had discussed before you went out too, you take all that wine in. Sure, it's heavy, but if you do your due diligence, you don't have to take as much out.
Yeah, except your trash. So we did bring the bottles
True.
back. Yeah, you have to take everything. And that's another thing. Like even like toilet paper, it doesn't go in there. You
Yeah.
got to pack baggies, you got to be prepared. Yeah, what goes in comes out,
Right.
know your rules, know all
Right.
of that. Yeah, but I was lucky. We went with some folks that have camped a lot. So we were super prepared. We had like, bear bags. There's a whole thing about bears. There was a bear box that you put any scented things in your food. So if you are a camper, like make sure you do your due diligence and know what you're doing, because it can be not safe, but
Yeah.
we played it safe. Safety's cool.
Yeah. Some things to think about. I love stuff like that too when you have like friends who are more experienced in it and kind of show you the reins. That's usually what I've done when I've been in a camping state of mind. Although, you know what? I haven't been camping since I was like a college kid. And then we certainly weren't doing the safest, I'm sure, with lots of things. Maybe it's
Yeah.
time for me to get back up there as a real adult.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool learning, and luckily, like, yeah, our friends let us borrow one of their tents, so we didn't have to. We just bought like hiking bags, but we wanted those anyway. But otherwise, so it wasn't like that big of an investment for us. So
No.
it was fun, and I think we'll definitely be doing it again.
Oh my gosh, the best. I feel like it sounds so fun. We did that, like I was saying in college, where we kind of like tried to get on a routine of a couple times a year where we did it in like the fall and then did it in the spring again. One of the fall times we went is still one of my favorite times in college in general. It's just the best. You go out there, you bring your stuff, you sit around, you talk, and go to bed. It's the best.
It is. Just being outside the
Yeah.
whole time.
Mhm.
I love being outside. I definitely take the Shenandoah area for granted. Like, I don't get over there nearly as much. I used to do it more. Like, I'd pair a hike with the winery or something like that.
Yeah.
So I need to get back into that game.
Yeah, but you know what? This is again the perfect time for that because like the views and all are sweeping and gorgeous. So you're right on track.
Yeah. But
Fantastic.
Kelsey, I heard you placed in the Steinholding
Yes,
competition.
you know what? I had you in my mind when I was over at Hardywood. I was like, I have to do this because Paige encouraged me, and I want to tell her it all worked out. I did. I did a Stein holding contest at Hardywood. They had like intervals of them, like at 1:30, 2:30, and all, and I got in on like the 3 or 3:31. I went over there, I saw everybody lined up, and I was like, oh wait, I want to go see how like is it too late for me to enter? And they threw me right in at the last
Yeah.
minute. I was ready to go and then held out until third place. I mean, I was a little shook by the chaos of it. I feel like I could have done better if I were, again, more prepared. But third place, not too shabby, I feel like.
Yeah, and I feel like that one was different. So that one you held one just straight out in front of
Right.
you. Yeah.
Yes.
And at the St. Benedict one, you have to hold two out this, how do I say this direction?
Yeah, just like as a T, like in a T
As
shape.
a team.
Mhm.
I keep forgetting some people mostly listen on like Spotify and
Yeah,
Apple and
right.
not on YouTube.
We have to explain our emotions. No, you hold it out like a T, like in the shape of a T. I know. I was thinking about that because I think when we were originally talking about all of the Stein holding of the season, I remembered Hardywood's was straight out front, but when I saw Holly do hers, side to side, flanking on either side with a Stein, that's even more intense.
Yeah, it's a, like, I don't know. I don't know what the official rules are, and I think it just goes based on place to place.
I guess. I mean, it's just you go get in there, have fun, do your best, and sometimes it works out perfectly. This one was also great too. I'm sure St. Benedict, I guess, was like also like all going toward a good cause, but this was
Oh yeah,
going entry fees were going toward Goochland Cares, which was like, even nicer. Go in, have fun, and donate while you're at it. It was the best. Third place though. There you go.
love it. Congratulations.
Thank you
Big
so much.
accomplishment.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna have to now that I really know what is, involved. I have to like just make my whole speaking of goals, my next year just all about training for the Stein holding.
We'll be ready.
A big journey. I mean, I'll stand there all day. I'll do it. But it was fantastic. It was beautiful weather too. We ended up renting one of the fire pits over at Hardywood, which I've never done before, but we'd always been curious about. It's $50. I think you get it for 2 or 2.5 hours. And they'll light the fire for you and everything. It was, of course, like warmer when we went on Sunday, so we didn't necessarily need the fire lit up and all, but it was nice to be able to just sort of have like a home base, especially when it gets like more crowded over there and you don't necessarily want to move all of your stuff all over the place to keep up with the kids. You kind of have like a home base with like seats and all of that. But I was thinking definitely go in on this as the weather cools down, because it would be super nice to have like a fire pit all cozy while you have a couple of beers over there. It was great.
Yeah, that sounds so nice.
Yeah, they do that. And then you can also, if you want to up the ante a little bit, or if you have like a bigger group, you can rent a fire pit and gazebo area where they've kind of got like covering, like a, shaded area if it is a little sunnier, and then you still have the fire pit access. It's nice. They've got a couple of cool setups over there. Not too expensive, especially if you like split it with a group of friends, like $50 with the whole group. Easy.
Yeah, I love that.
But it was great. I mean, I love it over there. As I've said in many an episode, love Hardywood West Creek, fantastic Stein holding, fantastic weekend all around.
Yeah, 10 on 10. All
Mhm.
right, well, dive in.
Yes,
What to eat, drink, see, and do in RVA this week. And you're up first with eat.
I am. So I was kind of like, again, doing my creative license with this page. Now, this isn't necessarily something that is like evergreen, or excuse me, it is evergreen, but not something particular to this week. You can indulge in this whenever you want to. I'm suggesting people get Chinese food this week or in the coming days,
Mm,
because around this time of year, now you can eat Chinese food whenever you want in my book. It's my favorite, but around this time of year when it's like cooling off, I especially love to do a little bit of takeout. And Lucky AF is getting a second location in Forest Hill next year. They're of course Asian fusion with like a, gear toward Japanese cuisine, but the people behind Lucky AF Eat restaurant partners are also the ones behind Fat Dragon, Beijing on Grove, and like more delicious spots in the area, which I think is where this craving is coming from,
mhm.
because I was thinking Lucky AF and then I was like, wait a minute, how do I know these people? Oh, because they offer delicious Chinese food. And it reminded me of the like Chinese food
Yeah, I
roundup that we've done recently.
remember you doing that.
Peter Chang and Chen's are my absolute favorites in the area for Kung Pao chicken, but we have this whole guide for, other favorites like crab rangoon, dry pot options, dumplings, and lots more. And so just in general, this week, I want people to go look into your Chinese takeout options, or if Japanese is more your style, go to Lucky AF. All of it, delicious.
So is Kung Pao chicken like your go-to?
That's my go-to. I love the spice. And usually when I order
Mm.
either from Peter Chang or Chen's, I'll be like, could you add a little of the extra like spicy chili that they add on? I think they can add it like on the side most of the time, so you can sort of manually up the ante with the spice level. Kung Pao though, my favorite, the
I'm
spiciest.
I'm like, not gonna lie, I love Chinese, but I don't really order it
It's
ever.
not well, because I was gonna say, like, Paige, do you have a go-to order when you're ordering Chinese? But maybe it's not on your Rolodex often.
Yeah, I usually just get like fried rice.
You know what? Fried rice though is good too. A classic.
Fried rice, the noodles.
Yeah.
I really don't even know. I'm more of a Thai girl. Like I
Oh.
love to buy.
Oh.
Holly and I almost went there last night.
Yeah.
So we get takeout from Sabai a lot.
They're
So
owned by Fanboy.
yeah, exactly. Same owners as well, which
Oh,
is
okay.
we ended up going to Fanboy.
I was gonna say, I feel like I was my context clues from what I saw you getting into.
Yeah, I would have to say I'm more of a Sabai girly.
Okay.
And again, they're like right near us, but also Fat Dragon is right near us. So
I
maybe I need
know
to
Fat
like
Dragon's right
venture.
there.
Yeah.
Have
Hmm.
you ever been to Fat Dragon?
I've only had takeout there. I've never
Oh,
actually eaten inside.
they have a very nice ambiance. That was actually one of the first restaurants that I went to when I came to the Richmond area, because we moved to Scott's Addition and we were like looking to our friends to tell us where to meet up with them for dinner. And Fat Dragon, I think, was our first official restaurant we went to.
Ooh,
I
okay.
recommend. They have a very nice like ambiance in there. The bar is very good for like drink options, and then they've got a lot of great like meals that you can get there too. I've only been there a couple of times, and I don't remember what my exact order. I don't know if they have a particularly delicious kung pao. They might, but if I'm going for like my go-to order of the kung pao, Peter Chang, which is actually also right in your neck of the woods, Paige, right there on Broad or Boulevard.
Yeah, it's like right across the street.
Oh my gosh, it's so, so delicious. And then Chen's is out more in like the Glen Allen area or like Twin Hickory kind of area, which now I'm, more used to because I'm out in the suburbs out of the city, but also excellent option. And we include both of them in this guide, and there's so many others that you can check out. This was sort of like a personal interest article I put together because I wanted to know all of the best Chinese restaurants in the city, and this is sort of where I gathered them.
I love that.
So now, Paige, you can go by this if you need like more recommendations.
Do you order takeout a lot?
We don't do, especially not Chinese, because sometimes it's like it takes a minute to get there. It's a slow burn for the delivery, and then sometimes can be a little pricey. It's more of a special occasion.
Okay.
But if I can convince Matt, maybe I'll do that this week. Definitely be like, hey, just for personal research. But
I
not a bunch. Usually, if we're doing takeout at this point in our lives with small kids, it's something quick, which I feel like Chinese doesn't always lend itself to because, they're taking their time to prepare your dish. But if I can convince the people in the house to get on board, they'll go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you I feel like not a big takeout person.
No, I prefer to like go. I much rather like go to a restaurant and make it like a thing.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, an event.
yeah, I mean, if we do take out, it's usually always the Cocky Rooster.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah,
Delicious.
I like just chicken tendies. And what else? Sometimes for takeout, we'll do sabai. Like
Yeah,
we'll call in and just like either pick it. I'll probably pick it up, kind
right.
of.
Nice and
And
easy.
just walk.
I feel like though, Sabai, another great option for this time of year. I mean, you really can like go to town no matter what the season, but especially like in cozy season, I love something like that. Thai food, Chinese, all of it. Delish.
Yeah.
Well, with that, what are we drinking, Paige?
Well, we're drinking Virginia wine. You
Of
know
course
why?
we are.
It's
Why?
because it's October. It's Virginia Wine Month. So, as a Virginia wine enthusiast, this is my favorite month, and I'm always so excited to celebrate. So, a little fun facts for you. So, this year marks the 36th anniversary of Virginia Wine Month, and it's the nation's oldest wine month. So,
Oh,
since 1988, Virginia has grown from just 1,300 acres and 40 wineries now to over 5,000 acres of vines and more than 300 wineries across the state. So we have fantastic Virginia wineries like right in our backyard near Richmond. So I'm just going to list a few of my favorites.
let's hear them.
Yeah, so first is James River Cellars, and I have to just mention them because it was actually the first Virginia winery I ever visited,
Oh,
and it sparked my passion for wine, leading me to like my current career because honestly, I was writing wine guides for the Richmond experience, but I spent 5 years working there. So I'll always cherish my memories there, but it's family owned and operated. They produce over 20 wines and they're only 20 minutes from Richmond in Glen Allen. So great, easy spot. Upper Shirley Vineyards is also one of my favorites. This is, it's perched above a beautiful bend on the James River and it's steeped in history, but you can enjoy a meal there at their restaurant. But they have outdoor seating with stunning river views, and that's 36 minutes from Richmond. And then another one of my favorites is Greyhaven Winery, and that was founded in 1978. So they're one of Virginia's oldest commercial vineyards. They were the 22nd farm winery in Virginia.
wow.
But what's really cool about them is they have a great selection of South African wines. The winemaker there is South African, so they import some wines there. So I know it's not Virginia, but I love just his selection there. It's
Yeah.
amazing. And you can get an outstanding cheese board there. 10 out of 10.
Okay.
And that's about 42 minutes outside of Richmond. That one's in Goochland. Um, but if you want to explore more, there's Soddy Creek. That's about 34 minutes. Jolene, that's another close one, only 20 minutes. But for even more wine exploration, you need to check out the Monticello Wine Trail
Of
around
course.
Charlottesville. Yeah. Um, this area was recently named Wine Enthusiast Wine Region of the Year. And in my opinion, humbly, it produces the best wine in the state.
We trust you, Paige.
Yeah, I
We know
mean,
you're not steering us wrong.
hands down. But some of my favorites, it's so hard. I get questions all the time. What are your favorite wineries? What wineries should I check out in Charlottesville? So a few of my tops are Stinson Vineyards. Such good wine all around. There's Sauvignon Blanc, their Tannat, just everything. So good. Pollock Vineyards, some of the best reds in the state. Wisdom Oak, small boutique farm winery. Their sparkling is outstanding. Of course, Veritas, I had to throw in a big one, and Chang family. Those are some bigger producers, but beautiful, stunning. Blenheim, love their wine, and it's great it's affordable. It's
Yeah.
so affordable there. And then, of course, Gabriel Rouse. This one's like a little hidden gem because they're only open Thursdays, Fridays, and Sundays, I think. So they're not open on Saturdays. So
Mm.
you kind of have to like know when to go, but it's really cool there. Beautiful tasting room. It's tucked in the woods. So you just sit outside there. It's beautiful. But as always, if you're looking for more wine content, you can follow me on Instagram at Sips and Trips with Paige.
Yeah, Paige has the hookup. I feel like I don't take advantage of this enough being your friend and colleague, Paige. I need to like just
Yeah.
constantly be texting you, Paige, what am I drinking tonight? Tell me.
Or we could go to a winery.
Gosh, please. You know what? As you were running through that, I haven't been to Upper Shirley yet.
Really?
I haven't. It's been something where like occasionally we'll be like, oh, you know what? Let's get outside because it's a good. I have gotten the impression would be a good one to take the kids. There's a lot of space and stuff.
There is a lot of room outside.
Yeah.
I do have to say, like, if you're gonna eat there, though, you need a reservation.
Maybe that's what has stopped us in the past. We couldn't like do it on a whim.
But if you go and there's like no reservations, you can still order like a bottle or glass of wine and go sit outside on the lawn.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Amazing.
And that's something like I have a hard time with. Are you a winery or are you a restaurant?
Okay.
Because in my opinion, if you're like serving food like that and you have to sit down and make a reservation, like Curly Mountain, you're a restaurant.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Uh, and again, some people might fight me on that one, but I prefer like the small farm wineries. I
Yeah.
prefer like Stinson Vineyards. You pack your own picnic, you go, you get a bottle or glass, you sit outside. Like to me, a wine is a very meditative thing. Going to a winery is a very meditative thing because you're outside. It's beautiful. Usually in Charlottesville, you have views of the mountains. It's stunning. And again, this is something I think a lot of people take for granted, especially living in Richmond. Charlottesville's an hour away. You can hit up a winery. Like Blenheim is literally 1 hour, maybe 1 hour and 5 minutes away. You can be outside. You can make a day of it. You can pack a picnic. I don't think a lot of people realize that a lot of wineries, you can bring in food.
Yeah. Right.
And so to just take advantage, and it's the most beautiful time in the vineyards. The leaves are changing. It's just after harvest. Most people have finished up harvest. So it is just the best time to get out there and, don't take it for granted. Like Virginia makes some fantastic wine. It's going to be different than California, but we can talk about that later.
Word.
And just enjoy, get outside, really enjoy, these are farmers.
I
They are
know.
literally waking up in like the middle of the morning, they're picking these grapes and it's turning into like a beautiful thing.
I know. It's an art form all in and of itself.
It truly is.
So enjoy the art over at the vineyards for sure. I definitely can see where you're going though, where it's like, do you want to just go get a bottle, get a couple of glasses, sit down and just relax instead of making it like a whole, okay, we got the reservation, we got to be there by this time. No, relax,
Yeah.
enjoy,
I love
enjoy your
the
life.
laid back of it.
Okay,
Yeah.
now we know, Paige. How about
But
C?
yeah, that's also going to take me into C, which is another thing that I think we take for granted. And I mentioned this up top, but fall foliage season has officially started in the Shenandoah National Park. So I mentioned this, but we went camping and the leaves were just beginning to change. So according to the Virginia Department of Forestry, peak fall colors in Virginia typically occur between October 10th and 31st. So if you're ready for a scenic escape, head to Skyline Drive, and that's the only public road through the Shenandoah. It spans 105 miles along the Blue Ridge Mountains, and it offers stunning views with several points where you can access the park on foot. So you don't even have to hike. You can literally just go drive it a little bit, stop at a few scenic points. You will not be disappointed.
No, amazing.
Yeah, and it's just under an hour and a half from Richmond. It boasts over 200,000 acres of protected land. So if you're looking for jaw-dropping vistas, waterfalls, hiking, wildlife, it's a must visit for every Richmonder. And if you need some hiking recommendations, these are the three we did. We did the Stony Man Loop. It was just over a mile, I think 1.6. Upper Hawksbill can be as short as 2 miles or as long as like 6. And then the Bear Fence Rock Scramble was so fun. If you've done Old Rag and the Rock
Yeah.
Scramble there, it gives vibes, but that one's only like 2 miles. And all three of these hikes offered like panoramic views.
Mm,
So even if you just want to go for the day and do one little hike, it's totally worth it.
yeah, for sure.
Um, and the leaves were just starting to turn, but I'm thinking like the next 2 weekends will be prime.
Yeah, this is like the time to go for sure. Definitely have it on your list. And if you want to do it, like do it, now or in the coming days because it's fleeting too.
Yeah, and if you go too late, the leaves could, fall, and especially if it rains. So
True.
this weekend's going to be gorgeous, literally 70 degrees. Oh, stop at a Virginia winery on your way,
It's an
on your
easy,
way home.
easy day. Definitely. You could truly make a whole day of it. Outdoorsy, winery,
Yeah.
the whole thing, the whole shebang.
And I'll tell you, just being outside all weekend, just you come back and you're like, I can do anything. Like
Yes.
just
And you can,
the
Paige.
brisk air, I don't know, just was so nice.
Amazing. No, fantastic.
Yeah, but plan your visit, be prepared, especially if you're going to hike. You can go to nps.gov/Shen, and you'll find all the information that you need to
Okay,
plan your
perfection.
little adventure.
Oh, perfect for this time of year. Perfect recommendation. I love it, Paige. I'll bring us home with a do. Now, we talked a little bit about like kid related family fun stuff last week, and I'm kind of like continuing that trend this week with a do. And I'm saying you should go visit the Busy Bee Play City in Ashland. This soon to open play space is another one offering imaginative play for kiddos age 7 and under to learn critical thinking skills, how to follow simple directions, build expressive and receptive language, increase social skills, and learn how to manage their emotions. The setup mimics a city and highlights a lot of occupations or businesses you would find in a city, like a firehouse, a gas station, and a car wash, a schoolhouse, a campsite, a grocery store. It's so cute. They offer daily passes or monthly and annual memberships, which come with added perks like coffee while you visit, a discount on a birthday party that you host, options to bring a friend for free once a month, etc. It's super cute, super like fun and flexible with how you want to get over there and visit. The grand opening is happening this Saturday on October 12th, but they've been posting a lot of stuff on their social media to get people excited about it. And it just looks very darling. And I can't wait to take my kids over there. I'm loving this like pop up of different places like for this kind of fun for the kids.
I know this looks so cute. I'm looking about it online.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of the Children's Museum, their little like grocery store section, or like the
Yeah.
ambulance section, or like the Virginia Museum of History and Culture also has a really great kids area where you can
Yep.
dress up in like a nurse's
Yep.
uniform or like different uniforms like that. I love it. It's so cute. And it's based on real life. Get the kids involved in society.
Yeah, it looks so cute.
It's
I
very
love
cute.
it.
I know.
Yeah, I love this creativity. I swear
Yes.
when I grew up, I just had like, I don't know.
I know it was going like, off of anything I could come up with. Now we're giving these kids something to go off of. But
Yeah.
it's fantastic.
Yeah, and we're lucky to live in Richmond that have, like, so many small businesses like this. Because 'cause
I
I'm
know.
reading about it. It is 2 sisters and 1 mom, so it's just,
Yes,
like, a local small
I
business, and
know. And so in the family, I love businesses like that. It's super sweet. And like anything that's sort of encouraging your kids to get, I know like screen time is always something that parents are trying to like, include in their routine as best as they can. This is a nice way to get out of the house, get them to use their imagination. And it's a new space, like other than your living room if they're kind of over it, especially as we head into these colder months. We're always looking for places to like entertain the kids that, if you can't necessarily go outside, this is a good option.
yeah, you'll have to let me know if you take the
I
kids.
know. I'll collect some, footage to share with the audience too and let you know, Paige. It's so cute.
Alright, cool.
There you have
Well,
it.
that wraps us up, right? Alright, so thanks for listening, Richmond, and by the way, there's more where that came from. Joining the Richmond Experience as a member is the best way to stay in the know about what's going on in RVA.
Not to worry, we refuse to sell your info or bombard you with ads, but we do charge a small annual membership fee of $39 a year to fund our team so we can keep doing this awesome work. Plus, a portion of each annual membership purchase for the Richmond Experience goes to rotating nonprofits each month. That's like $1 per week to get an all access pass to the best of RVA and lift up local orgs. It's a really, really good deal, friends. And listen, what are friends for anyway? Use code CHATTER to get $10 off your first year subscription.
Give us a follow on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at The Richmond Experience, and on Instagram at The Chatter and RVA too. And if you enjoyed this episode, send it to your buds and rate, review, and subscribe.
And if you want to keep up with each of us, you can find me at Kelsey Hines' Typing on Instagram.
And me, Sips and Trips with Paige on Instagram.
Chat with you next week, RVA.